Hey, what's up, listeners? I hope you're all having an amazing day. I'm your host, Nathan, and to get started on today's topic, we will be discussing anger, what causes it, the problems it creates, and how to effectively manage it. First, we have to see what anger actually is. Anger is an emotion that I feel everybody experiences from time to time. But when anger gets intense, frequent, or difficult to control, it has the possibility to lead to some negative outcomes. So what causes anger? Well, in my opinion, there are many causes to anger, such as feeling threatened, feeling frustrated or misunderstood, powerless, and these can be internal, such as feeling overwhelmed or stressed, but they can also be external, such as encountering a difficult person or a situation. For example, in my previous episode, I had mentioned that my elementary school years were very difficult for me. In those times, I felt super angry at a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And instead of dealing with my anger in a healthy way, I bottled it all up, which in turn led me to still hate the people that I was in school with to this very day. I can name at least 5, but we'll discuss that later. Right now, let's talk about the problems that anger can create. So, anger can cloud our mind and make us not think clearly. I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody listening who's been angry at any time. It sucks to be angry, or at least afterwards, because while you're angry, you don't really care about what's going on around you. All you care about is trying to get that anger out of your system. And then once you do, you regret being angry in the first place. You go on thinking, damn, I probably should have just chilled out and kept a cool head. And this is all assuming that you got mildly angry. If you got super angry and you ended up way out of control, it has the possibility of leading to legal issues like assault, property damage, threatening bodily harm. Anger is a very, very powerful and reckless emotion. Believe me, nobody wants to deal with another person being angry. So that's why, in my opinion, it is very, very important to master your emotions and manage them effectively. And that's not even just anger, that's every single one. What happens when people don't manage their emotions and they just react upon them, you get cheaters, and this is just a trigger warning, you get school shooters. It can be very tragic, and this is all because of emotion. Just pure emotion. If you have the discipline to sit down in your room one day and talk to yourself, to think to yourself, to meditate to yourself, and you just sit there thinking how you're going to manage your emotions, I guarantee you things will turn out a lot better. Now look, with this, I also want to note, I'm not saying don't have any emotion. That's not what I'm saying. Be expressive, be lively, have emotion. But don't use emotion, or don't let it don't let it overthrow you when you're in a situation that requires you to think level-headedly. Because I'm telling you right now, if you use emotion to make a decision, an important decision, 9 times out of 10, you will regret that decision when you're finally not thinking about emotion. Right? So that's all I'm saying. Right? With this episode, it's not about just shut your emotions out. No, that's not what I'm saying. I promise you, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, when times call for emotion, have emotion. When times call for being calm, be calm. That is it. That's all I'm saying. And that is all I will continue to say for the rest of this episode. So, again, it's not that I'm trying to push you down. I'm not trying to tell you that when you're angry, that's not okay. Because, listen, it's 100% okay to be angry. There is a thing called healthy anger. You can control your emotions. And again, I didn't say to stop having emotion. I just said to temper them. Right? So just don't let it become very volatile, because it's gonna suck. It always sucks, dude. Like, I am the victim of people being super, super angry, and it's not fun. Hell, I'm even the perpetrator being super, super angry, and it's not fun being angry, and it's not fun witnessing anger or any emotion that's out of whack. I assure you, it's not. The only time I could think of that is like in some theater play, but that's just a theater play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand? Because, again, this is very important. I really wanted to emphasize the importance of this episode, dealing with your emotions. It's not that I'm trying to tell you that it's bad, okay? Because, listen, if you have a bad temper, if you get angry at everything, that's okay, okay? What's not okay is not seeking out any help to change that. And that goes for anything too, not even just emotion. Like, if you have a bad habit and you just sit there with that bad habit, then that's not good. Having it is one thing. Not doing anything about it is an entirely different and an entirely worse thing. So that's all I'm saying for anger, right? And even in relationships too, like, I want to go back to healthy anger. It's okay to get angry. If there is something that's truly wrong, that's truly bothering you, you are allowed to get angry. It is your obligation to get angry. And that's all right. But as long as that anger is controlled and you don't let it cloud you, what I want to say is that it's okay to feel emotion and it's okay to be level-headed. But don't have so much emotion in situations where you are required to have a level head. And same thing vice versa. Well, I wouldn't say same thing. I'd just say, like, take it easy. Like, you can have a level head in a situation that calls for emotion, but you're allowed to have emotion. In both scenarios, too. Temperament is the main key in this episode. And another thing I want to say, too, right before we end it off, if you ever are feeling angry or you're experiencing an emotion that you don't know how to get rid of because, you're getting pressured by everything around you, I can humbly say, this is going to sound like a cliche, and it is a cliche, but you have to breathe. You have to step back. You have to get yourself out of there by any means necessary and go to a place where you can breathe and you could think and you can get rid of that emotion that's trying to take over your thoughts and your decisions. And again, emotion should not have to be a thing when it comes to making big decisions in any scenario. So that's all I got to say for this one. Moral of the story: you can have emotion, just temper them, and you will be A-okay. I'll see you later, guys, in this life or the next.